seemingly there are operations that have started today here in Charlotte. Are you able to share any more information? Have you gotten any more insights on the nature of this operation at this point?
Well, I'll tell you, the insights that we are getting or that I'm getting are coming from people in the community. They're not coming from official channels, i.e. federal government or folks that are in charge of this quote unquote operation. And so I think that's a real point of frustration for me and so many others in the community right now.
And so on that point, what are y'all doing to try to get more information? I know it's tough because, there are certain channels, right, that I'm sure that you have to go through just as much as, we as reporters and maybe even the community members have to go through. Are there any additional attempts being made to try to glean more information from the federal level?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, everyone is reaching out to any and everyone that we can to try to gather information, but to no avail, to be frank. A lot of the information and what we try to do is take a proactive approach by letting our voices be heard and saying that, hey, this is not something that we welcome. This is not something that we think we need in our community. Also, we've tried to educate and provide information with respect to legal information or available resources to support the community as well. So I think we're doing everything that we can, but this is something that's unprecedented, and it's unfortunate that we cannot get the level of cooperation that we need to provide to the residents of Mecklenburg County.
So I guess going forward from here, what are you recommending folks know and or do if they are either they end up wrapped up in any of these operations, or they witness it? Because, quite frankly, and you probably have seen some of the coverage at this point, a lot of the video that we're getting is from folks who are bystanders or witnesses who just happen to be, or they suspected that they should be in a certain place to see these operations happen. And that's how we're finding out that they are happening.
That's right. And so, one of the things I'm asking everybody to do is to stay safe. Number one, stay out of harm's way. Certainly record, document as much as possible, get as much information as possible, and then leverage the channels that are available to be able to pass that information on so that people can act accordingly.
Now, there is another big question that I feel like folks have, and frankly, I kind of heard you pose it in a certain way, just a moment ago, but kind of like, why Charlotte? Why send the agents here? Are you at all surprised that Charlotte ended up on the radar, just given some of the, spotlight that the city has seen on a national level and kind of, on the Trump administration level with crime and such, in the stabbing on the light rail? I mean, what can you say as far as your take on Charlotte ending up on this radar?
Yeah, unfortunately, my take is that, and this is my personal take, is that this is political. For whatever aim, for whatever reason, people are playing politics with people's lives. They think it's, I guess, politically expedient to tear families apart, to terrorize, to have people live in fear. I guess they're going to score some level of political points. But to really try to understand the rationale of why our community would be chosen for an action like this, I wish I had a better answer for you. And maybe I would have a better answer if we had the level of communication that would be needed. And so because we don't have the level of communication, we're left to speculate, unfortunately.
Where do we go from here? In the sense that I realize that there are a lot of question marks. We don't even know how long Border Patrol is going to be here. And I know that there's a tendency to try to compare with other cities, Los Angeles, and we see Chicago and what happened in Portland. And, I've pointed this out before, those are somewhat different situations in that you did see National Guard, for example, in Los Angeles, and that was ICE. And this is specifically Border Patrol. So we can't, even if it's just on that front, compare directly from other cities. But people watch that and they go, well, is that going to look like Charlotte in a couple weeks? Where do we go from here, in the sense, as a county leader, what sort of information are you trying to gather How frequently do you think you'll be updating the public on what you find out? Any of that, just to kind of share with folks a peek behind the curtain of what they can expect from county leadership going forward.
We're going to consistently share any information that we have. We are sharing with the residents of Mecklenburg County. We're going to continue to understand the available groups that are out there that are providing resources, any intel that they have. We're going to continue to press communication channels at the federal level. We're going to talk to our state partners to see what they know, and any other partners to figure out exactly how we can gather information and pass that information on to our residents for sure. We're going to look at every means at our disposal to rectify this situation, to educate, to keep our community informed. But and we're going to let our voices be heard with respect to the type of community that we are, the type of community that we want to be, and we're going to make sure that people understand that we embrace our immigrant community. Make no mistake about it. They continuously contribute to our economy. We believe in certain core values that certainly are not reflective of the actions that you see.
We heard, a statement recently from the governor, Josh Stein, kind of echoing some of the sentiments you shared, just now with us, and also his desire, it sounded like, for folks to document encounters as they are able to and report those as necessary. Have you heard directly from the governor at this point, and or folks who might be on different levels of government?
Sure. Had a conversation with the governor a couple days ago, I believe, and did talk through the situation and what he and his team knew. I know that he's put out multiple statements. Many electeds have put out statements. We've also had a press conference yesterday with a host of electeds and community leaders to let our voices be heard. But I will tell you, statements can only go so far. Folks need information, and we are asking for cooperation from the federal government to provide us information on how long this operation is going to last, what is the purpose of this operation, and to your earlier question, which is a great question, why Charlotte? Why Mecklenburg County? I think that there are other places, and typically when communities need help, they ask for help, and to my knowledge, no one in leadership, none of us have asked the federal government to have to step in to help us with any of the enforcement actions that they're taking. If they want to help us, I would suggest that they lean in and help us and work with us on issues like homelessness. It would be great if they would lean in and work with us on issues of affordable housing. They would lean in and work with us as far as issues of income inequality. There are a host of issues that the federal government can lean in and help us and do their job and make our community better.
I have heard, your sentiment here over the past several minutes regarding your general thoughts about the operation that's underway right now in our city. Have you seen any of the videos? And if so, what are your thoughts on what you're actually seeing with your own eyes with some of these videos that we're seeing?
I've seen quite a few videos. As a matter of fact, I was riding in my district. My footprint is East Charlotte, and I took a ride through the district. I didn't physically see anything, but there were videos floating, and I believe that the last video I saw was somewhere from the South Boulevard area. But nonetheless, it is heartbreaking to see some of the video, and what it, when you see folks with automatic weapons, masks, and it's really disconcerting to see that in our community. That is the sight, the optics are really hurtful. I was talking to my 15-year-old daughter just a little while ago, and she was telling me about some of her friends who are just living in fear. And I know that so many people across this community today are horrified and upset. And, our hearts go out to our immigrant brothers and sisters. And it's not just the Latino community. We have a large African population. We have a large Vietnamese, Southeast Asian population. And so many groups are being impacted. and they're being profiled. And that is really heartbreaking. That's not the America that we've all grown up to know.
You know, you mentioned that your footprint is the East Charlotte area, and we heard you just now talking about, some of the folks who are in the areas, that you're serving and you're spending particular time in. I've done reporting in recent years on that East corridor, and I know that there are corridors of opportunities in that area, and real efforts from the county and local groups to kind of bolster folks who live in this area. I don't know if you could kind of give us an idea of the areas where we are seeing, some of these videos coming out of, who's living there, what kind of folks are there, what are these neighborhoods like, and, how do they fit in with the greater Charlotte community?
Well, I'll tell you, when you travel East Charlotte, you take a corridor like Central Avenue, in particular, that Sharon Amity corridor, Eastway Drive, excuse me. You see hardworking individuals. You see small business owners. You see restaurants that people are accustomed to going to consistently. You see just working families. And you see families that, are trying to contribute positively to our community, to our economy, and they are just trying to have a better life for themselves. And it's a welcoming community. It's a place where typically there are smiles all the time, and you take a place like Manolo's Bakery that is a real hub here, and his story, and so many others. And I will tell you, I continuously get texts, video from people who just are in shock, cannot believe this is happening in our community.
County Chair Mark Jerrell, we thank you so much for your time here on Live Impact News. We've mentioned this before, but we'll be covering this not only throughout the day, but in the days and weeks to come. So please come back, give us updates as you're able to, and share some insights as you're able to share those with us. Thank you.
Happy to do that. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for covering this really important story. So happy to come back.